Hi everyone, it's been a while, a long time actually. I think the last time that I put up a video was maybe like end of December or early January. I'll have to go on and check. I feel like every time I went to go sit down to film a video, I either just had too much going on and didn't want to dedicate the time to it, or wasn't feeling like it. But I finally feel like things have calmed down a bit. And yeah, I wanted to try and start this up again and see how it feels. So I am starting fresh with a new month. Happy August. And I thought that today we would do my bridal makeup because I recently got married and I did my own makeup. A long story, but I thought I was going to do my own makeup at first, and then everyone told me it was going to be too stressful and it was a bad idea, so I should get my makeup done. And then I did a trial for my makeup, and although it was like absolutely beautiful, I just didn't quite feel like myself, and so I realized that I wanted to do my own makeup, and I actually thought that it would help me like relax and be in the moment a little bit the morning of. Long story short, it was actually a very relaxing wedding in general. We planned it in about 3 months and it was very sweet and very small. So anyway, we can get into like those details later, but I did my own makeup. Long story short, already rambling. And I thought we would do it together today. It's a mix of conventional and conscious beauty products. So this is just what I use. Have products already that you love, then just stick with those. I did a little shopping. I got a couple of new products for this. One of them being eyelash curlers because I was in desperate need for new eyelash curlers, and it was really fun to actually go shopping for makeup because I rarely do that. And I really like all the products that I ended up getting. I did like a little bit of research beforehand in terms of what makeup is good for like long wear. But to be honest, I mean, maybe it was the event, maybe it's just me being like relatively low maintenance about makeup, but I didn't do one touch up the whole night. But I think you're just on such a high that it doesn't really matter. You just feel so happy, and I think you get this like really wonderful happy glow just from the event itself. So don't stress too much if you're doing your own makeup. Just use products that you like, use products that you know work for you. I did do a little bit of skincare, which I can talk more about, but I thought I would just flash them on the screen really quick so you guys can see. Again, I did a little bit of research in terms of what are some good products to use before, you know, like a big event. And I started off with using the Tata Harper Hydrating Mask. I woke up naturally at around 5:30 the day of our wedding, which if you know me is not normal, but I was so excited, like not even nervous, just so excited that I just was like ready to get the day started. So I woke up really early. I did a hydrating mask, and then I also did a sheet mask. This one is the 111 Skin Cryo Depuffing Facial Mask, and highly recommend this for big events. Very expensive, but worth it if you have a once-in-a-lifetime event. And then with like the remaining serum on that cryo mask, which did such a good job depuffing me, I used this Jillian Dempsey Gold Bar roller and just kind of like worked it into my skin. Put on some moisturizer, and then I had some stuff to do, like finishing my vows and stuff. So I did all of that while like letting the skincare really soak in. And then it was time for makeup. So I already curled my eyelashes. That's always like the first step that I do. If I forget to mention any products, I will put all of them in the description box if I still remember how to link them. I did, like I said, a decent amount of skincare prep, and then I used this ILIA eye cream, Bright Start Activated Eye Cream underneath my eyes, and I just tapped it in a really small amount because I didn't want anything to settle, but this has some luminosity to it. So you get a really pretty glow to your skin, especially under your eyes and under concealer. That reflection looks super natural and just really brightens the area, but not too much of that. I do have moisturizer on that was different than I used the day of. These little clips also really came in handy. So I started with my eyes, but before I did that, I put on a little bit of primer just to let it kind of sit in my skin. And this was a product that I researched, and a lot of people said they really enjoyed using it on their wedding day. And so I bought a little trial size product because it's probably not something I would usually buy. This is the Tatcha the Silk Canvas primer, and I really just concentrated that on the areas where I have larger pores, so like around the sides of my nose, underneath my nose and mouth where I know makeup tends to wear off, on top of my nose because that's always an area that I forget, and then right in between my brows and kind of like up onto my forehead because again that's where I have larger pores. T-zone tends to get oilier. So I applied a good amount of that and I just kind of let that sink in. I love the way this smells. Tatcha products are all like very fresh and they just smell so wonderful. I let that sink in and I started to work on my eyes. To brush my brows out of the way, even though I don't fill them in until after my eyeshadow, and this just helps me understand how I want them shaped so I can kind of, you know, do my eyeshadow to that. And then this was a purchase that I made. This is the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes. Really didn't want anything sparkly on my lids, and I used this ILIA primer, which I had, and it actually worked super well. I put a little bit of that on my eyelids. For me, it was actually a super relaxing experience to do my own makeup. I'm definitely someone who uses my fingers a lot with makeup, and I know for most makeup artists that's like a no-no, but I really love how kind of fresh it makes your makeup look, and it just, for me, blends so much better into my skin. And you do lose some of the coverage, but that's okay with me. I don't really mind. So I was happy to be able to like kind of touch my face and adjust things as I needed, and then nothing felt heavy, which was wonderful. And we did a surprise wedding. So everyone arrived and they thought they were just there for like a party, and so I was greeting guests a lot at first, and so I really wanted my makeup to feel just like me and not something super heavy. I'm gonna actually start applying some stuff. So I don't even remember what I used. I'm just gonna do a brown smoky eye because that's basically what I did, but I'm pretty sure I used this color here all over my lids. I'm like looking to see what's been used. I used a little bit of this color in my crease, more in my crease, maybe a little bit on my lash line, a little bit on my lash line. I don't know. I used like a good mixture of all of these. I'm actually gonna start off with the lightest color and just give myself like a nice base, kind of brighten my eye area, and then I'll just blend everything into that. Did I do that on the day of my wedding? I don't really remember, but I think it would have been a good idea. And then I'm going in starting with the browns now. Since, like I said, it was a surprise, I just really wanted to feel like myself, and me doing my own makeup was the best way to do that. It was also, like I said, very relaxing for me. Although I think I had a super relaxing experience in general, which I feel really lucky about. We planned it really quickly, which there are definitely moments where it felt like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna do all of this in the time period that we have? But for the most part, it was a pretty stress-free experience, which I feel very lucky to say. Also, if you're practicing doing your makeup, which I did a couple of times, just to make sure the products I really liked, definitely wear white, because white changes everything. I'm gonna go into my crease with a darker brown color. You guys have seen me do this a million times. Really, the only difference was that I wore more than I usually would, and even with that, it wasn't super heavy. I just wanted to make sure that my features would stand out in photos and not get washed out, but I just wanted to look very natural and like myself. And it doesn't even really look like I'm wearing makeup. It just looks like I'm having a particularly good day, which was what I was going for. It's also really helpful to have a clean brush on hand, so you can go back and forth over shadows and just soften everything. I did put some underneath my eyes, but we will get to that. I'm gonna leave that as is because basically what I did, I think. But I did tightline my waterline, which I think made a huge difference. And I used this Jillian Dempsey eye kohl, which was amazing. It didn't budge all night. I'm just going underneath my lashes, which it's hilarious. When I got my trial done, they did this and it was so uncomfortable having someone else do it, but for some reason doing it myself, it does not bother me. I did stab myself in the eye a couple of times, luckily not on the wedding day, but when I was practicing. And then I just went over my lash line just to give myself a little bit more definition. I think that's basically it. And then I used this L'Oreal waterproof, very important, waterproof telescopic mascara, which has this wonderfully thin brush. So your lashes look so nice and long, but very natural. And I usually concentrate on like pulling out my lashes to the side, which gives me a more elongated look, but I didn't do that. I really just tried to get every one that I could to keep my eyes nice and open. I don't think I put any on the bottom, but you could with this because it's waterproof. It always looks so funny when you have like full eyes on but no other makeup. Handy spoolie always to brush through keep any clumps away. When I went to Sephora and I picked up some products, which you've already seen some of them and you'll see more, I just grabbed a few of these spoolies because they're so helpful. Onto the face. So primer is like totally set, and then I looked up all different foundations. I think in retrospect, I probably could have used the Kjaer Weis foundation, but I was like nervous that it wouldn't last as well. So I purchased the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, which like everyone talks about is the best, and it is really nice. But yeah, I think I could have used the Kjaer Weis one based on like how everything lasted and how it actually looked by the time that everyone arrived. And I got a slightly lighter shade, definitely too light for me now. I have a tiny baby tan. But I also had a bronzer that really helped to warm it up. And I did apply it with a beauty blender, which I used to love, but whenever I clean this one, so much pink dye comes out. So I kind of wonder if they no longer make the sponge itself pink, they like dye a white sponge pink. So I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. I feel like the quality has gone down. And I put a super light layer on. I know that for weddings and for photos, some people feel like you need more makeup. I'm sure this is not going to shock anyone, but I feel the complete opposite. I feel like you need less makeup. I feel like natural skin is so beautiful. I feel like it translates really well. And unless you have super high def cameras, which maybe some people do, and then I get it, no one's gonna see the little things. So what I really wanted is something that was gonna even out my skin tone. I did put a tiny bit of this on my chest because I was wearing like a lower neckline. Before I do concealer, I am gonna do my brows, and I use the Westman Atelier Bonne brow. This is by far my favorite brow product that I've tried in all the years that I've been doing this. I just filled them in a little bit more generously than I usually would. Just tried to give my brows some nice shape and then lift them off of my eyes, if that makes any sense. And I always make sure to brush through. And this was a new product. This is the Patrick Ta Brow Lamination Gel, which I watched the Anna edit and she raved about this. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and get it. And I do really love it. It does a really good job keeping your brows in place and you don't get that weird white crustiness. It has these like very fine little bristles. Okay, I think I moved a little bit, but hopefully I'm still in focus. I'm very out of practice here, so this is just a trial run, okay? You just gotta be easy on me. Go in with a tiny bit more eyeshadow now that my brows are on. A little bit of that dark chocolate shade just in my crease. Next, I used some ILIA Concealer, and I just did a tiny bit in the corners and then up like a little dot. Again, less is more for me here. A little bit around my mouth and over any areas I'm worried about. And then I just used my sponge to tap it in, which gives really light coverage. So if you wanted more, you could also use a brush. It was also the hottest weekend of the year in San Francisco, so it was beautiful. It was like mid 70s, but feels hotter when you're in the city. Yeah, we just couldn't believe the weather we had. It also meant that I wanted to wear really comfortable makeup. So I also went in and I did some like pinpoint concealing using the Glossier Stretch Concealer. I don't think I'm gonna do that today. I don't have too much that I need to do. I have like some darker areas of pigmentation that I always have here that maybe I could pop some on for extra coverage, but we're gonna be applying more product. So you can also wait and do spot concealing after the fact. I definitely need to warm up my face. So this was one of the things that I like really debated. Oh, I forgot one product. Okay, I need to go grab that. I will be right back. Okay, of course I didn't forget it. It was sitting right in front of me, but I have it now. Anyway, what I was saying is I was very nervous about contouring and bronzing my face because I feel like those are two things that can go terribly wrong. I used some products that I already had, and the first was the Westman Atelier Face Contour Stick in Biscuit, and this ended up being so beautiful. So I just kind of like rested it on my jawline and traced all the way back here, came across on my chin, and then traced again on this side. It's mostly concentrated underneath my jaw, and all I did was very softly, and I just went back and forth, and then I took my blender had a little bit of foundation on, and I blended down. And I look back in photos and I'm so happy I did this because it definitely helped with my jawline. And it really didn't look like I was wearing anything. I did, however, do a decent amount of warmth to my skin because this, again, it's hard to tell right now, like on camera, but it is a little bit lighter than my skin. So I purchased the Saie Beauty Sun Melt Cream Bronzer, and I'm obsessed with this like everyone else is. And I did all over my cheeks, up back onto my temples, and then all up my forehead, like very traditional bronzing, like down on my jawline. And this just gave my skin such a nice glow, but it did need to be powdered. So I paired it with another product that I already had, which was the Westman Atelier bronzer. But I did take this like across my nose. When I practiced my makeup, I actually think I took it on my eyes a little bit too, but I don't remember doing that the day of. It really just made everything look so nice and glowy. And this shade especially is very natural. So it just like warmed up my whole skin, and I made sure to take it on my ears, underneath. Yeah, I did do both powder and cream blush. This is the Westman Atelier blush in Petal, which is one of my favorites. So again, like these are all products that I know I really like. I know I like how they look on my skin. I'm just using them a little bit heavier than I usually would, and then using other products to make sure that they last well. Blush was definitely one of those things that faded the quickest, but luckily it was nice and warm, so I had like a natural rosy glow to me already that day. And everything that I put on my face, I just kind of like blended all together. And then I took a little bit of blush, stuck it right in my crease, and blended towards my brow bone. This was a new purchase. I got this Patrick Ta blush palette, which actually comes with a cream color, but I was most interested in this powder color. I don't really have a powdered blush that I like. These like kept popping up everywhere I was researching. And so I just powdered on top of that. And you can see it's such a pretty pop of color. And if I ever felt like it was too much, just go around the edges. And then the bronzer is this one from Westman Atelier. This is their, yeah, Beauty Butter Powder Bronzer. And I used a big powder brush, and I just went right in over the top of everything, down on my jaw, and powdered away. And for highlighter, I used the Westman Atelier Lit Up Highlight Stick. I have this like mini set. I just feel like everything should come in mini because I can actually finish a mini, but I rarely ever finish a full-size product. And I love this highlighter. It's so beautiful and so natural. So I just popped that on my cheekbones, underneath my brow bone, a little on the top of my brow bone, and then with my pinky I put it right in the inner corner. I need to do my lips before I powdered, so I bought this Kept Forever Aqua lip, which I'm super happy I did because I actually feel like this lasted almost all night, and I didn't touch up my lips once like I thought I would. I brought, you know, a touch-up bag, and I think the only thing I did is right before I went out for the ceremony, I powdered a little bit because I wanted to make sure I didn't look too shiny. And then I had these puffs that I just got at CVS, which of course now I can't find, that I used when I was doing like my lips and stuff so that I could steady my hand but not upset my makeup. So I just like put it on my finger, and then I could rest it and line my lips. And I just did my natural outline and kind of buffed it in like I usually would. Color is perfect for my lips. And then I did a combination for my lips, but for the most part I used this Rouge Nude Pink lipstick, which I just love. It's like a everyday lipstick of mine. Feels like my lips but better. If I could go back, I would actually use a little bit more of this, which I had with me, which was good. I did a little bit of it. But this is a Westman Atelier like Nudes palette or something. And this deep color, which I know it looks intimidating, but it's really just like a stain, like a berry stain. And it's super pretty. I've actually been wearing this a lot recently. So I probably would have enjoyed layering these two a bit more. And then it was really just time to powder. So again, I did like a lot of research, and I don't know if I would get this one again, to be honest. It's heavily fragranced, which is kind of a bummer, but everyone said that this was the best, so I got it. And I got a little travel size of it. It's the like Givenchy powder, and it has like all different shades. And so I just used my bronzing brush, and I took a little bit of powder, and this is one of the items that that I brought with me. And I really just powdered the center of my face, sides of my nose, and my forehead. And then I went in with, when I was like first getting into makeup, I feel like Urban Decay was so big. And everyone used their all-nighter setting spray, and so I use this too. I'm not going to spray my face with it today because I don't need it, but I do think this made a difference. I did 2 layers of this, so one spray, let it like totally sink in and dry, and then I did another spray. But now I can take out these little things. And this is the look complete. So this is what I wore on my wedding day. I was super happy with it, like I said, especially with that setting spray and a little bit of powder touch-up. Everything lasted beautifully, and by the end of the night, like I still felt really wonderful. Everything went really well. Our wedding was, I think everyone feels this way about their wedding day, but our wedding was perfect and wonderful and sweet, and we're still totally on a high from it. We just got to see photos this week, so that was really fun, and we had a videographer there, so we'll get to see the video at some point. Yeah, it was great. So anyway, happy to be back on here. Hope you all are doing well. Hopefully I'll see you again soon and it won't be another 8-month period of time. Did totally forget one step. I did go back in and I colored in all of my little freckles, which how could I forget that? I even did the ones over on this eye, which I rarely do. And I did have one pimple that popped up right here the day of, and so I put on a good amount of concealer, I powdered it, I did everything in setting spray, and then I went over and I put a little brown dot and it looked just like a freckle. So that is a great tip if you also wake up with the one giant zit on your face during your wedding day. Okay, well that's it for me. Hope y'all are doing really well, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.